Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're zeroing in on a major pharmaceutical forecast that literally just hit the wires. If you follow market strategy at all, you know that a company's roadmap reveals its true ambitions. Well, today, we are looking specifically at Zydus and their FY28 forecast for a truly pivotal asset.
Because listen, in a fiercely competitive pharma landscape, forward guidance is everything. It's the whole shebang. So the big question we're exploring today is, what is Zydus's next big milestone? We're going to unpack the specific target they've set, the highly rigorous market they're aiming for, and of course, the ultimate financial payoff they are projecting. This isn't just about a single drug, right? It's about understanding the mechanics of a literal masterclass in market positioning.
Okay, let's get into it. Section 1, the Zydus announcement.
Let's dive right into this. The absolute driver behind this entire news cycle is Saroglitazar. Now, this asset represents years, and I mean years, of heavily targeted research and development in the chronic liver disease space. Basically, everything Zydus is projecting right now regarding timelines and revenue, it all hinges entirely on the successful commercialization, clinical reception, and market penetration of this specific drug. Saroglitazar is uniquely positioned to address severe metabolic conditions. They're focusing specifically on indications like Primary Biliary Cholangitis or PBC. And in a landscape where effective, targeted liver disease therapies are just highly sought after, advancing a molecule with this specific dual PPR agonist mechanism, it gives Zydus a massive clinical wedge. They aren't just pushing another generic into the market here, they're strategically attempting to carve out a very specialized niche where patient need is exceptionally high and the standard of care is actively evolving.
Moving right along to Section 2, Target, U.S. launch FY28.
Let's see how this all builds, because understanding this corporate forecast really requires looking at the stepping stones. Today's strategic announcement initiates a multi-year runway. The pre-FY28 phase, well, that's going to be entirely consumed by navigating some incredibly complex regulatory hurdles. We're talking FDA scrutiny for metabolic and liver therapies, which absolutely demands impeccable trial data and rigorous safety profiles. Zydus is using this runway to establish supply chain logistics, finalize their commercialization strategy, and really lay down the critical groundwork for market access and reimbursement negotiations. Guys, it is a massive undertaking to transition from clinical success to commercial readiness in such a notoriously difficult regulatory environment. And all of this culminates in the targeted U.S. launch in financial year 2028. By publicly locking in this date, Zydus is signaling some profound internal confidence in their clinical pipeline and their ability to actually execute on these complex pre-launch logistics.
And now for the big payoff. Section 3, the $200 million potential.
And this brilliantly illustrates the stakes. $200 million. Zydus sees a $200 million peak potential for Saroglitazar in the U.S. market alone. They are betting heavily that their FY28 launch is going to successfully ramp up to capture this massive market share. But to understand exactly why they're projecting this specific figure, we've kind of got to look at the market dynamics for chronic liver therapies. The patient population for conditions like PBC, while it's considered orphan or highly specialized, well, it commands premium pricing. And that's due to the severe nature of the disease and the frankly astronomical cost of untreated progression. So if Saroglitazar can demonstrate superior efficacy, or even just a better side effect profile compared to existing first-line treatments, Zydus can rapidly capture market share from the incumbent therapies. This $200 million projection, it reflects a highly calculated expectation of strong clinical adoption by hepatologists and a pricing strategy that aligns tightly with the high value of specialized metabolic treatments in the U.S. healthcare system.
So, Zydus has obviously set a clear, high-stakes benchmark for their future. But as we all know in this industry, a forecast is really only as good as its execution. So, what do you think? Will the FY28 target and that $200 million peak potential actually become a reality? Or will U.S. regulatory scrutiny and competitive hurdles from established pharma giants end up disrupting the timeline? The strategic roadmap is drawn, but the execution phase is where the true test lies. The entire market is going to be watching very closely to see if Zydus can clear the runway and successfully transition from an ambitious forecast to a dominant market reality. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer today. Keep your eyes on FY28 and never stop learning.